Yo, what is going on YouTube? It is your boy GZTV back with another video, and in this video we are going to be talking about the 28th overall episode and the second of the third season of The Sopranos, Proshai Livushka. Obviously a super unfortunate occurrence happened here, as you could clearly see in the thumbnail, and if you watch the show, again, these are spoilers. I'm going to literally get it into everything. Like, I'm going to talk about the entire episode pretty much in depth. But yeah, we're going to kind of do one little blob after this. Just kind of talk about what happened in the episode, some important things. Stuff that can signify what will happen for the rest of the series. So let's go. So getting into kind of like what happened with this story. This should be a pretty long episode. Like, there's quite a bit to talk about. I'm doing this right before like my teacher releases like this lecture thing I'm going to watch for our snow day today. But yeah, so at home, Tony meets Meadow and her friend from college, Noah Tannenbaum. Obviously, college, there's a lot of romance going around, so she's going to find someone to live the rest of her life with. We're not sure if it's going to be Noah, though, because Tony is not a fan. Tony and Noah talk briefly about Tony's favorite film, The Public Enemy. Like, his parents are, Noah's parents are in, like, the showbiz, so he knows, like, a lot about what's going on with movies, and he has a good history of it. Alone with him, though, Tony questions him about his ethnicity and confirms that he is half Jewish and half African American. So that doesn't rub well with Italians, because Italians do not like black people. Like, that's just how it is. They just have that racist nature towards them. I'm not sure if there's like a history between them or anything. I don't know the context, but everyone knows that Italians are anti-black and they're super racist. So that's all there is. So Tony tells him that being black, he must stay away from his daughter. They can't form any sort of relationship. And he's like kind of chatting with him. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna start? Are you guys doing something?" And he's like, "We'll see." And Noah's like, "We'll see. We just kind of met." And then Tony's like, "Yeah, just tell her it was nice. Tell her goodbye. Do all that stuff." So yeah, he's not a fan of it. And that's like, despite your heritage, and despite your morals, that's just such a shitty thing to do as a father. Your daughter's finally finding someone that, like, and seems like a smart kid. He seems like a nice guy and all that, and you're just gonna shut him down. I don't really know about that. Noah swears at him and storms out. Tony goes to the kitchen, unwrapping some capicolo. He sees a box of Uncle Ben's rice, triggering a panic attack. It kind of brings up like what he just did to his daughter's date or whatever. It's really weird. He has these weird emotional attacks. How can you own a can of Uncle Ben's and then turn him down? It's weird. It's a really strange one. But Tony has read the newspaper headline, "Second Firebomb in Sanitation War." So they're like firing back at the sanitation trucks and all that stuff for, like, it's like a battle between crews or something. It's kind of confusing. I didn't really pay attention to that storyline too much, especially because we were distracted by the fact of this, and we will get to that in a second. So he confronts Ralphie Cifaretto, an ambitious and effective member of Richie April's crew, and Albert Bariste about the sanitation dispute. He tells him firmly, "No more fires. We can't do this. We can't keep making the news and giving ourselves like unwanted attention because you guys want to start fires for no reason and retaliate and do all this stuff. We can seek vengeance. You guys shouldn't." So instead, Ralphie has a man beaten up with baseball bats, so it doesn't make the news. Separately, Ray Curto meets his handler from the FBI. He is cooperating. So now, Tony obviously doesn't know it, and nobody else in the crew knows it, but we might have a new rat here. And that's going to create something super interesting, I feel like, for this season. It'll be interesting to watch. So Tony visits his mother, Livia, in an attempt to set things straight and tell her what to say if questioned about the stolen airline tickets, because she might take him to trial and, like, testify that, "Oh, my son took these," and that's going to put Tony away for a long time because they're already building a case against him. Yeah. So she seems to stonewall him almost. Okay, so continuing on with the show, I don't remember where we were at. Here we go. So, exasperated, he walks out from her, like, stonewalling him and stuff. That evening, Livia dies from a stroke, which is a really interesting thing that the show decided to do literally after they had, like, a bad conversation, and she dies, and, like, we're left on a bad foot, and Tony's, like, not very happy about it. He seems, like, kind of guilty of it. I don't know, or feels guilty, but Later, Tony tells Dr. Melfi, I'm glad she's dead. Then he bursts out that he is a bad son. He's kind of just. Obviously, that's what a therapist is for. You're supposed to, project your feelings, but he starts kind of projecting and, oh, yeah, I'm a bad son, this and that, and all that stuff. So, Tony's sister Barbara informs him that Janice will not be coming for the funeral, which really upsets him because, throughout their life, Janice has just seemed to lack any sort of care for their mother, She didn't care to visit her anytime. She didn't care to take care of her. All she wants is her estate and her money and her will and all this stuff. So this is the last straw for Tony. When he hears this, he just cannot believe it. He furiously calls her in Seattle and tells her to be on the next plane. She inveigles him into paying the fare. He's fine with that. Yeah, you're kind of. Again, she just wants money and wants everything to do things for her, but at the end of the day, he just wants her to be there. So at the funeral home, Janice insists that, contrary to her wishes, Livia be given a lavish funeral, and exasperated, Tony agrees. To an extent, they need to have some sort of remembrance. Yeah, she didn't really request any of this stuff, and although she's a bad person, kind of, to them, and they kind of discuss this at their party or whatever it is. Yeah, they have to still celebrate her. They care about her to an extent, So in Livia's house, Janice hammers at the basement wall. So I don't know why. I think she's trying to renovate it to have her own house. I don't know. So at the funeral, still at the graveside, she has a dispute with Livia's caregiver Svetlana about Livia's collection of records. This is the least thing that matters right now. Your mother just died and you care about her record collection and you want to bash her caregiver even though you were never there for her. It's just it's pathetic and it's stupid, and it really makes you not like this character that is Janice, So Svetlana says Livia gave them to her. Janice orders her to give them back. Why does it matter? This is just immature female banter right here. What am I witnessing with this? So at the post-funeral reception at the Sopranos house, Janice, against Tony's wishes, corrals everyone into the main room for a ceremony of remembrance. Tony just wanted to leave it as a simple celebration. He didn't want to do too much. He didn't want to make it sentimental at all because that's not what this needs. This isn't a person that needs to happen for. But with some reluctance, one or two people speak in memory of Livia. There's a lot of weird tension in the room. It's super awkward. Christopher, stoned on marijuana and cocaine. He's in his rock star phase or something. I mean, he gives a rambling, unfocused speech, and he's just saying things to kind of say things to keep the conversation flowing. And it's a super awkward episode. Towards the end, it's just super weird to watch. Yeah. So Tony slips outside where he's confronted by an angry and drunk Artie Bucco, who remembers Livia telling him about Tony's torturing in the Vesuvio. Again, why are we holding... this is the weird energy that a death like this gives these people. And it just proves how, ill-hearted of a person Livia was, because there's all this tension. It's what's going on? Why do we have grudges towards each other at someone's funeral? That's how much they care about her. Seriously. But, yeah, I don't know. Artie goes back inside and seems ready to speak about it, but Carmela, who has been drinking, suddenly says, this is such a crock of shit. Someone finally breaks the tension and just comes out and says it. What the hell are we doing right now? This is just foolish. This is just stupid. Why are we doing this? She says that Livia was terribly dysfunctional and even from the grave spread no cheer. She's creating negative energy and she is not even here with them right now. And that just shows something, Her father Hugh then says that Livia estranged us from our own daughter and ruined I don't know how many goddamn Christmases. So people are finally starting to come out and say some negative things. And it's yeah, why are we talking good about this woman? What is there to remember about her? That's why we've been sitting for so long thinking of things. So Carmela then upbraids Tony, Janice, and Barbara for ignoring their mother's wishes and having an elaborate funeral. Artie ultimately remained silent. He wanted to say something, but yeah. Why would you even do this? Why would you bring people in a room? Why would you have a funeral? This isn't a person that wanted a funeral. She was just one of the biggest negative Nancys you'll ever know in your life. Why would you do this? So afterward, Tony sits in front of the television with a drink and watches the scene from The Public Enemy in which the main character's mother joyfully prepares her home for her son's return, not knowing that he is dead, and he kind of gets teary from this. And this show does a really good job of kind of drawing parallels like that, where it's like it's like a similar thing that's kind of happening in real life. Like Tony is Tony's like making a funeral for her when she doesn't want it, and all this stuff, and yeah. So there's a couple new characters. I mean, Ralph Cifaretto was a huge soldier in the April crew. Eugene Pontesorvo, yeah, I don't know. Noah Tannenbaum, obviously. Potential boyfriend of Meadows. Ronald Zellman was the assemblyman. Obviously, Lydia died, and that changed like the vibes completely for this show. It's going to be really interesting getting into the next one. I'm super excited to continue to watch this show. I think they do a good job time and time again at just making an effective TV show. Like, I just don't know what else there's to say about it. I'm going to get this posted, and then I might go hit some cardio real quick. I got like an online lecture and like a Discord call today for my classes because they were canceled. So I'm going to get to that stuff. But yeah, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As always, it has been your boy GZTV giving you guys another video on this TV show. You know, we cover the best TV shows out there. We have watched Breaking Bad in its entirety. We've watched Better Call Saul in its entirety. We've watched The Walking Dead in its entirety. Ozark. We've watched quite a bit of shows. Obviously, if there's new seasons for things like Stranger Things, we watch that on the channel as well. But I'm out, guys.